Also, too, since you live, make sure your money's turned on too. It should be, but just make sure your money's turned on, just in case you get some supers.
Okay. Settings. I guess let's see. My first time doing it. I gotta see where we. I don't even know where the where I could turn that on at Vacho.
You should be good for the most part. I mean, you might have to open up another link and go to your YouTube page or whatever, like your YouTube studio button, and just make sure
Yeah.
there and then turn on monetization and shit.
All right, bet.
Just
All
a
right,
joke.
man. Let's rock. All right, Voch, we're in. Everybody, okay, folks are in. There we go. Okay. So, Voch, it's me and you. I told the good people that I was gonna start going live more. Um, Now, normally Voch kind of runs the show. He does the ooh ah ooh
I can do it now. I can do it when
ooh.
I can still do it.
Run it, Voch. Run it for the good folks, man. We just talking. We ain't doing too much.
Every time let me turn up my microphone so that everybody can hear me clearly, so that everybody can hear me and Fuster King properly here. We doing a little joint show, man. You know what I'm saying? We holding down for the Doski Woski, Peasky Weesky. Shouts out to everybody over on Brother Fuster King side. I'm Voch Lombardi. Y'all should know us because ain't no other heavyweights really doing it for real in that way. You know what I'm saying? So let me just go ahead and just war call the thing up one time for the good people. How you doing? So we normally catch y'all at midnight, depending on your time zone, but we here for breakfast. Some of y'all may be on lunch break, depending on where you at. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all might be asleep if you're over on the West Coast, but you can check in now. You can watch this on demand. You can do what you want to do. Brother Fuster King got some questions today. He has some analysis. You find that the more you watch players, the more guys move up and down boards. And the last time me and Fuster King talked, it was a while ago. So we just updating the good people. We just updating. And I normally do draft shows for the all 32, but we're gonna keep this cowboy heavy today. I rarely just tap in with my own people during draft season, but sometimes you got to make a little time. Brother Fuster King, what you got for me, sir? Let's get
it. Bro, that joint is so. If you're not,
it never gets old, Foots. It never gets old, man. Come on now.
Hey, Vacho, man, you want to? Hey, I in my last video I did, man. I could say you one of those dudes, man. It was me, you, Joe. You were one of the first that was just banging out film. I was like, man, this dude is crazy with the film, like crazy with the voiceover. And then me and Joe kind of came along on the Cowboy side, and then you started touching the Cowboy draft. But we've been at this for a while, and it's good to see like how everything's coming full circle, how we're getting the respect that we deserve. So it's dope. Anyway, Voch, first, where are you at with your evaluations?
Mm-hmm.
How many players have you gotten through? Are you still in that? Because this is what we tell people all the time.
Right.
It is not it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
We got to sprint this out. Yeah. And first, I'm so glad you said that because this what happens, right? And this is just me setting you up. I'm about to throw you an alley real quick.
Throw it.
We run into a lot of people, whether it be social media or comment sections, right? And they'll be like, Voch, have you seen this person? Foots, have you seen this person? And it'll be December and January when they're saying these things. Oh, this player is crazy in December and January. Then in my mind, I go, all right, fine, cool. Draft season gets started. I'll watch him. And that player be terrible, or I hate him, or I just don't like him as much as that person likes him or so. And I think what that comes from is there's such a demand for this draft stuff that sometimes people get impatient, that sometimes people want to rush to judgment to where they'll watch an Andre Cisco film session and go, oh, that's safety one right there. That's safety one. And now people going around saying this crap. I watch film. It's February. We got till April to figure this out. We got till the end of April to figure this out, but you want to run around and calling a guy like Andre Cisco safety one. Then you watch Hamza Nasruddin. Then you watch Morig. Then you watch Washington. Then you watch safety one, in my opinion, Richie Grant. And you go, this don't look like McDonald's. These people better than all these people y'all been talking about. So I always encourage community to just kind of slow down for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Slow down. Styles P said, slow down, plug the fan in, let the sweat dry off, then grab the cannon. Be patient. Patience is a virtue, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna get this done. We got time. Where I'm at on my board, Foots. I'm about at the end of the 4th round on defense. I ain't watched no running backs, no receivers, really, not deeply. No running backs, no receivers, no quarterbacks, because I'm Cowboy guy, really. But I've beat the hell out of O-line, D-line, linebacker, corner, safety. So whatever you ready to go DB-wise, I'm ready to go with you, sir.
I've smashed quarterbacks. I've smashed, excuse me, pause that. I've banged out all of these. I've done research on all of these quarterbacks. All of them. I'm talking about Ian Book, the whole 9. I went DB. I got some thoughts on that. Linebacker. I just put out my ranking. And so I'm ready to go there. So it's good to see where you are as well. I would say if you gave me a range, I haven't, because I had to do some double watches. And I raised my hand. When you said Cisco, I'll admit, I still have hopes for Cisco in the right situation. The right situation, Vacho. The right situation with the right coaching. He takes a lot of chances. He takes some bad angles, but the ball finds him. I like players like that. But nobody's helped themselves more than Richie Grant. The process helped him. And with there being no combine, I'm willing to say that Richie Grant is going to be a late 1st, early 2, and that's that on that. And maybe even higher. But that could leave you this team with the Morig, who I like as well. Now, linebackers is what I really wanted to pick your brain on. So I want to talk linebackers with you. I want to talk Joker because I want to get your thoughts on Joker. But let's say that for the end of the show, Voch. Sure. But I got a couple questions for you. Okay.
Pass that and overrated. Go ahead, hit me with it, Foots. Come on, Foots. I'm playing around with it. Do it expeditiously. You smoke.
So look. Let's talk the forgotten, and then we'll do underrated, overrated. Let's talk the forgotten. So I got 3 players for you, Voch. Yes. Okay. And when I say the forgotten, these are guys that didn't play. Now, there are guys in the later rounds. I think about my Stanford corner who didn't play this year. I think about a couple other pieces. But when we talk about the 3 forgotten, we talk Caleb Farley, okay? We talk Micah Parsons, okay? And who else are we talking when we talk forgotten? What was my other name?
Guys, Sewell, Slater.
Let's talk Sewell. Let's talk Slater.
Plenty of them.
Caleb Farley, Micah Parsons, and Jamar Chase. Those were my big 3. But you get those because those are those guys. To you, out of the forgotten, who's kind of being disrespected from what you're hearing? Because, I'll give you an example. For me, I love Devontae Smith. Jamar Chase is my 1.
Sure.
But I do think J.C. Horn playing this year jumps Caleb Farley and Surtain.
So let's do this. Let's start with wide receiver then, and then we're gonna work down the line. So I do agree. People have somehow forgot Jamar Chase is incredible and scored 16 touchdowns last year. People do kind of forget that because they want to go with, I don't even want to call it recency bias because Devontae Smith is incredible. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even want to go there. But I think even if Jamar Chase would have played, Devontae Smith's still incredible. So at the end of the day, you with all these guys, right? And like I said, we're gonna go down the list. You have to ask yourself, is the last sample size you got on film enough to trust that player? You see what I'm saying? So you may have an opt-out if you don't trust them and they need an extra. Okay, we're not talking about we're not talking about D-line today, but Greg Rousseau, right? I've been hating on Greg Rousseau for a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like if anybody needed an additional season to play football, Greg Rousseau needed that season to get this thing right. Let me hit my button because we ain't focused. Greg Rousseau needed this season to get right, but he didn't have it. So now we have no idea what he can be. Walker Little, offensive lineman. Tore his ACL 2019, opted out 2020. He didn't show me enough on film to where we have a good idea about Walker Little, right? We know what Jamar Chase is, right? We ain't got to see no more film on Jamar Chase. Devontae Smith has climbed up those rankings. Devontae Smith was great last year. So you really can't knock Jamar Chase for not playing this year because you know exactly what he was. And there's that little bit of upside room that he can get better. So just those 2 guys, I don't think it's disrespectful to like Smith over Chase, but people should definitely keep their eyes on Chase and not forget what he did last year.
See, and to me, there you go right there. I think that Jamar Chase is what's going to happen with Devonta Smith is going to be he's going to have to go to the right offensive coordinator. Whereas yeah, you disagree? Well, here, let's disagree. No. Let's talk because I think he has the route tree down pat. He's a unicorn. But you're gonna have to. I believe you're gonna have to protect him from himself, and the size to me is a real thing. You see how Baltimore uses Hollywood Brown. They don't throw the ball to him over the middle of the field. It's nines. It's I can't even think. I mean, everybody is throwing out that Marvin Harrison comparison. Sure. I love it. But if I have Jamar Chase, who I compare Jamar Chase to a poor man's Julio Jones. Like, I just think that he's that true X that he can run every route. The after the catch is amazing. And he's going to bully DBs. Like, that's his game. His game is part-time bully. Sure. And so what's happened is he didn't play this year. And I'll tell you this, Jalen Waddle, possibly, dare I say, he's a bigger version of Devonta Smith. It may be better with the ball in his hands. So I want people to kind of slow down. I like Devonta Smith a lot, but if there was one person who I say not has the biggest bust potential, but just kind of like in the league, because I'm going to tell you, these corners are physical. They beat you up. These DBs will test you. And it's a lot of punishment for 172 pounds. Like, that size just doesn't last in this league. Being able to do everything. Like, that size screams Deshaun Jackson, who was a great piece player, but is he my true X? Is he my true dog that when I need a play and everybody knows where the ball is going, I can still force him and push him the ball? Me personally, Foots, I'm gonna have that mindset to say no, he's not. You know what I'm saying? And you disagree. Let's talk about it, Voch.
So one lesson I learned just doing this draft thing over and over. I'm not perfect, and I've actually grown along the way. One thing I've learned not to do with players is to, and this at any position, is to take a player and start saying what they can't do. Because that's how you end up missing out. Oh, this player is not going to do X, Y, Z. In my mind, I want to do what can they do and how can that help me win? So that helps me, you know what I'm saying, compartmentalize it a little better. Michael Thomas is incredible at what he does. You're not going to ask him to run a whole bunch of 9 routes. That don't mean he ain't great. That don't mean he should fall in your rankings or whatever. Just have him do what he's good at. Just like
the size scare you, Voch?
You talking about Smith? No. Because what you're gonna ask Smith to do, he's not gonna need to be like big and bulky or whatever. I think it's a myth that small players get hurt in the league. Because damn it, everybody get hurt in the league. The swole players get hurt. Everybody get hurt in the league. So if I'm looking at Devonta Smith, I'm not gonna ask him to bully people. I'm not gonna ask him to jump ball people. I'm gonna ask him to work his routes, get open, be quicker than fast, them long ass arms that he used. I'm gonna ask him to use those, and I'm gonna ask him to do what he's great at. Jalen Waddle, I'm not gonna ask Jalen Waddle, and also Jalen Waddle has an argument to be wide receiver 1. We'll talk about it later, like a different day or something like that. But Jalen Waddle, you're not gonna ask him to do things he's not good at, like
100%.
So when I look at Jamar Chase probably is the most balanced in the way that he can do a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? I just think Devonta Smith is much more nuanced as a technical polish route running type. And I may like that a little more. That's just my own personal bias. If you the type that I think because people are going to say that Waddle is similar to Ruggs with the big speed or whatever. Waddle is probably faster than Ruggs. But what separates Waddle from Ruggs is the acceleration.
You mean Ruggs is probably faster than Waddle?
I'm saying Waddle is probably faster than Ruggs.
I wonder what Waddle was going to clock this year. Do you know?
Faster than everybody in the draft. It's probably like another person Waddle can fly.
Now Waddle can move, and he's great after the catch too.
100%, Mr. Wolf. So it just depends on. I mean, I don't want to call it coin flip because everybody's going to do something different. Everybody got something to work on. But I'm not knocking Devonta Smith because he's small, because then I'd be wrong. I'm only going to take him. I'm not going to ask him to jump ball over people. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking him to do what he's good at. He might have to play slot for a year, but I fully think he can line up outside in the future.
And so let's talk. I'm glad that you brought those 2 players up. Let's talk our receivers from last year. Let's talk the big 4. Let's talk CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. Now, obviously, quarterback play comes into the conversation because obviously Justin Jefferson had the best quarterback and consistent quarterback with Kirk Cousins. We didn't really. I was looking at CeeDee Lamb's numbers. I mean, this is with Andy Dalton, not even with his guy. He was able to put up almost a stack. And then obviously you had what's my guy in Denver? He route technician, but with Jerry Jeudy on duty, he wasn't able to get in the same bag as those players. And let's talk about Ruggs. Went before all of these guys, right? And arguably was the worst.
Sure.
With good quarterback play or decent in Derek Carr.
Sure.
So that's why I say, okay, I say football in the NFL, we know it's a physical sport. Listen, CeeDee Lamb is a physical player. He got crunched. He got crunched some last year. It was an adjustment for him. My point is this, Voch. How he's used, like CeeDee Lamb is going to be a parental Pro Bowler in this league, without question, because of that physical nature. JJ, for as good of a route runner as he is going to be a physical, a perennial Pro Bowler in this league because of his physical nature. I just want to make sure because the route runner, Devontae Smith is special, but the physical side of the NFL, it's a difference, man. You know that.
So
we talked about a linebacker pre-show that is off of our board because he's not physical. Come on, Voch.
Sure, and there's another linebacker smaller than him. So listen, let me ask you a question. So what size makes you comfortable taking a receiver? Like what weight works for you?
I want my receiver. I don't care how fast he is. I'm dead serious because those speed guys, John Ross, I always stayed away from those guys, Voch. I hate that argument. You need speed, blah, blah, blah. No, you need a good football player, bro. And I'm not saying that Devontae Smith is, but I remember saying, watching John Ross, it's not going to work in the league. I'm telling you. He doesn't have the nuance in these corners. That stuff, you got to really be able to win. Like you said, your word is nuance. You got to be able to win against those guys as route runners. Just running past people.
Yeah. And that's
Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson was the one person who I would say made a career really running past everybody. Everybody else. But anyway.
I think, but like CeeDee Lamb not in the 200s. I don't think Jeudy was in.
No, CeeDee. I think he's 205. CeeDee's built. I need my receiver at least 195 and up.
CeeDee probably just got to 200, but he wasn't 200 coming out, and he's not going to stay 200. That's my point. Devontae Smith may be 165, 170 or something. He's not
170.
170.
Yeah.
He'll be 180 something by the time this thing is over with.
He'll get thicker.
I don't need him to be 200. I just need him to be great. Be great.
Yeah.
Be great. Because look, we would like for our safeties to be 6 foot, but some of our favorite safeties coming out been 5'11, 5'10, 5'9. You know what I mean? Like just play ball. Play ball. And if it's worth it, it's worth it. Also, since we're on this topic, I don't want Cowboy fans thinking that it's a good idea to move on from Michael Gallup just to kind of draft the receiver because you think that you could just go find a receiver. Because I've heard people say that, oh, Voch, we could just find a receiver. Should we get rid of Gallup? Let me tell y'all something, man. For every CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, there's a Ruggs and Rager that just didn't work. So hang tight on what you got, man. Keep that Gallup. Let's get into cornerbacks, Foots, because this was really juice for me. You wasn't hating, but you kind of had a wake up call about this whole Pat Surtain hype. Now I've been talking that kind of shit on my show for the longest. I want to hear your side of this thing. Where you got Surtain ranked at?
In my cornerback ranking, I have him at 3. I'm at 2-3. Okay. You could flip him and Farley, but I just have J.C. Horn is better. And I'll be honest with you. The Newsome kid is really growing on me as well. The more that I watch now, I think that Surtain, like they do, Newsome and Surtain kind of do the same things. I really like Newsome's instincts, like 1A, 1B with Surtain. Like if you drafted Greg Newsome, excuse me, not the Washington kid, the Northwestern kid. Yeah, if you drafted him, I think you'd be fine, Voch.
Sure,
I do. And so. You know, I like the Georgia kids as well. But to me, the problem with Surtain is that what's happening is folks are just making it's now just become like a running joke, Surtain to the Cowboys, and it's just lazy. Like, dog, J.C. Horn is clearly an alpha male on the football field. Clearly. Shout out to DMV Cowboys. That's my dog right there, John. What's up, John?
John G.
Yeah, man. Surtain, listen, I just think that he's limited, unfortunately. Like, he's a 4.5 athlete that has great technique, but players are going to run past him.
So
guys are going to jump over him. Whereas J.C. Horn, this is everybody's J.C. Horn argument, Voch, and I'm pretty sure you've heard it. He's grabby. He's handsy.
Sure.
I'm okay with that, bruh, because his instincts, his head's always around. You'd be hard-pressed to find film that he wasn't a dude on film.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I'm drafting that. This team needs dudes. Now, the reason why I said Elijah Molden, Newsome, guess what? I think that Trevon Diggs is my one.
Sure.
And I'm fine with that.
Sure.
So does this team...
Right, 100%. Yeah, go ahead.
Does this team need a one, or do we need a helper? You tell me.
You need as many as you can get. If you can get 2 1s, cool. If you can get a 1 and a 2, that's fine. Whatever your prerogative is. This is my thing. I don't think it's a running joke necessarily to say Surtain to the Cowboys, because I think it relatively makes sense. It's just that what happens is it's early and it's March 5th right now, so you see the tide kind of changing a little bit, but everybody catches up at some point. I told you pre-show, everybody just kind of got their groove that they work on. Now, we grind this shit for real, Foots, but there are some people that kind of only listen to what Daniel Jeremiah tell them, you know what I mean? And it's March 5th, and we had to account for that. So one thing that we not seeing, ain't nobody talking about Sean Wade no more, you know what I'm saying? Because the board is always going to constantly change. We got till April to figure this out. What I think is going to happen by April, I think people are going to discover Greg Newsome from Northwestern. They're going to keep watching a little bit of J.C. Horn, Kelvin Joseph, who is my cornerback number 1, whatever.
I gotta pick your brain on this too.
Let's run it.
Voch, why do you like a football player that doesn't like football?
He loves football, sir.
Voch, he is
issues. Foots, I am very sympathetic to players and their issues, and let me tell you why, because I told this story on my channel one time. Somebody told me, Voch, have you watched Patrick Peterson yet, the kid from Washington? I say, nah, who is that? The kid that choked out his coach and cussed everybody out. I said, I don't want no player that cuss out his coach and choke everybody out. And sure enough, I watched that film, and that boy, his ass was cornerback number 1, and he's been just fine in the league, sir. I will take a little bit of hard-headedness. Now, look, he is gun under the seat guy, but guns are legal in Texas. He is who got weed around here guy. Weed is fine in the league now. He is where's my mixtape guy. I don't mind player having interest outside of football. Is he a player? Can he play? He can play. You can't say he doesn't love football, then watch his film and see him competing his ass off with Devontae Smith, competing his ass off with Kyle Pitts. The same SEC competition Pat Surtain played, he played too, plus Devontae Smith. You know what I'm saying? So if you're just watching the film, you start talking about speed, you start talking about patience, you start talking about setting up, route recognition, you start talking about nuance, you start talking about hands.
As route recognition and knowing what's happening, he's really good. You know, he reminds me of Jackrabbit.
Sure.
I just think that
Janoris Jenkins.
He reminds me of Janoris Jenkins. But what
Peters, they're all in that same category of physical.
Actually, he plays just like them. That's probably how he lives his life. He's gonna take chances. He's like Marcus Peters. He's gonna tell you, I'm not gonna tackle. Joseph he'll tackle when he wants to, but as far as coverage, sticky. Hips are alive. His hips are really, really good. That's the first thing I noticed.
For the 10th overall pick, would you take Marcus Peters for 5 years?
With his turnover production, yes.
And that's basically what I think. Ball skills is crazy. That was his play versus Mississippi State. He's way in the end zone somewhere. The quarterback threw an interception to one of the D linemen or whatever. Everybody's in front of him. He runs past everybody just to go block for his partner. I love that foot.
That's football. I
love that foot. So you see the speed from him blazing everybody, and he ain't even got the ball in his hands. You watch some of these other guys, they don't want to run fast and make blocks like that, brother Foots. I ain't gonna talk shit about nobody necessarily today, but I think J.C. Horn and Kelvin Joseph, they probably gonna switch, but I got till April to figure this out. They're my cornerback 1s or 2s over some of these other guys that we talk about. And be careful because Greg Newsome may end up being cornerback 4 and Surtain may fall to 5 because I don't have a problem with Greg Newsome running.
And let me ask you this, man. If Asante Samuel Jr. was 2 inches taller, you would draft him.
Yeah, 100%.
It sucks, doesn't it? I mean, you talking about a guy that loves the game,
sure,
and that's clean and pedigree and all that stuff. You know, that Antoine Winfield type stuff, where his dad is in the league and he was born to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love like. There's not a player that I love more probably in his draft than Asante Samuel. I just know I gotta unattach from him because it's the Cowboys and they take size seriously. Let me get your thoughts, Vacho. Well, go ahead, finish your thought real quick. I'm sorry.
One last point before we move on. I don't want people to think that I'm saying Pat Surtain is going to be a terrible player. Pat Surtain is going to get in a system and in a situation, and he's going to be fine. If Pat Surtain can man cover with safety help behind him, he's going to be really, really good.
He's a technician.
He's a technician. It's just that the Cowboys run some cover 3, and Foots cover 3 defending the deep ball is just like cover 1. So do you really want Pat Surtain one-on-one in a lot of these situations? I personally don't. If you're a team that blitzes a lot and you run a whole bunch of cover 0, do you want Pat Surtain without help? Not really. Can J.C. Horn run without help? Kelvin Joseph, Greg Newsome, can Caleb Farley run without help? They absolutely can. It's just that when we talk about these top guys, we got to nitpick. But Pat Surtain will be okay. I just like guys a little more better than him. This is really
and we want you guys to understand it's not nitpicking. What we're doing is what national guys don't do. I don't knock on anybody. I just know I trust Voch. I trust some of these guys he's working with, Jeff, the whole 9. And I like to just, we don't just come on and just a lot of shows that I hear is I agree. Well, really, there's times when if you see something different, a player speak on it.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I'll be honest. I'm cool on Tyson Campbell. I like Stokes. I'm cool on Campbell.
Tyson Campbell is terrible.
I'm cool. Yeah, like I'm cool. Some of these other guys, the Clemson corner, I'm cool. It's some of these guys, I just see things that I'm like, well, okay. It's just I'm cool. Stay away, Dallas. So, Voch, I want to make Micah Parsons great again as a forgotten. Okay, this is the forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of the first. And once we get to my linebacker rankings, I want you to chew them up and let me know what you think and move some things around. But Micah Parsons, okay, I will give us credit for kind of being the first to start the narrative of kind of a player that's out of position a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He only plays forward. I never see him turn his hips and run. I've never seen him carry a tight end up the field. These are things that you're going to have to do if I'm drafting you at 10.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm drafting you high, I'm not drafting a blitzer. I can get that in the 4th round.
Sure.
Okay. If I want, Britt from Auburn, hey, just play forward and play, C gap to C and just go be a thumper.
Yep.
That's not a line. I can't have that at 10.
Sure.
How do we make Micah Parsons great as one of the forgotten? Vacho, talk to me.
Draft him in the 2nd round somewhere, and he'd be at incredible value. So while Fuss is going to go check on the son, I'm gonna take over the show real fast. Dexter Calloway dropped the dub my super chat. Appreciate you, sir.
Y'all hit my super chat up too, man. Dang.
Dom dropped 5 in there. Appreciate you. And Reeves dropped a dime. Also, Rue Glock dropped me a dime in my PayPal from my birthday. But he dropped it after the show was over, so I ain't get a chance to get to it. So it's me shouting out Rue Glock. He ain't live now, but I know he's gonna watch on demand. Shouts out to Rue Glock. So how do you make Micah Parsons better?
Let's make him great. Let's make him great again, Voch.
He's like my linebacker 4 right now. And I think
we close. That's crazy.
I think he's gonna be like a Sam linebacker in the league. I definitely see. Look, he'd be an incredible will if his processing was a little better because he can run all day. He can run up and down the field all day. He has the athleticism and the build to be a Mike for you, but you kind of need your Mike to be high mental processing guy as well. So in your mind, where you need him to be at, you need him to be a guy that can blitz and let plays come to him. Let him deal with pullers and guys like that, and he'll be fine as a Sam linebacker. You just can't draft that dude at 10th overall, that type of player 10th overall. So my rankings as of now, JOK, Zaven Collins, what's my man name from Missouri? I forgot his name. Nick.
Let's talk.
My man from Missouri, he's 3, then Parsons is 4. I forgot my man's from Missouri, man. I'm sorry.
Man,
we got to able to figure this out. Go ahead, Foots.
Let's talk. Oh, they said they don't see the super chat button on mine. I got to figure out how to. Hey, I'm new to the live, y'all, so I'll make sure I have all that up and running for you guys, man. But thank you guys for coming on in.
It is cash. It is cash.
Yeah, hit my cash app, man. Nick Bolton. So here's my ratings. We can jump right into it, Voch.
Yeah,
what I did was I threw Nick Bolton at 1. I threw Zaven Collins at 2. I got Micah Parsons at 3. Jabril Cox 4. Baron Browning 5. And then I went an honorable mention for Pete Warner, KJ Britt, and then Chad Surratt, stay away, meaning no, and no again.
Yeah.
So my thinking, and this is, I want you to jump in and chat box, feel free to do the same. My thinking was this, okay, and I left Joker off for a reason. And I'll talk about Joker because I think Joker is incredible. I think I was one of the first. I covered Joker during the season because I knew which way the season was going.
Sure.
Me and Joe have had many a conversation about JOK, but the right team has to draft him. But we'll talk about that. Anyway, Nick Bolton. I think his instincts trump his size. His physicalness trump his size.
Sure.
His instincts and his tackling ability. Outside of the Georgia game, that was my only negative grade from him. And that was early on in that game, out of position. Players had bad games. Right. Other than that, you would be hard-pressed to find film of Nick Bolton not in a pile, not around the play or full. I'm not going to knock him because he's 5'11" or 6, whatever he is, because he's just effing good at football, and he will knock you out. He is my linebacker 1. Zaven Collins is my linebacker 2 because Zaven Collins will do what? Turn, run, and he looks 6'4". So that 6'4" isn't some made-up, fabricated measurable. He looks 6'4", and the ball finds his hands, and he's doing things that I haven't seen Micah Parsons do, and that's why he is my linebacker 2. Straight up. Micah Parsons is my linebacker 3 because that talent, the talent is real.
Yeah.
The problem is the instincts are not, and Penn State asked him to do some real weird things. And then Jabril Cox. Here's the thing with Jabril Cox. I would have liked to see him another year on a good LSU team.
Yeah. I just think he's a very solid player. Like he's a very solid run and hit will linebacker to me. Just a very standard up and down guy.
Absolutely. And then so that's my, and then Baron Browning. I think that Ohio State did a lot with him. I would like to see him in the middle versus a Pete Warner, but Pete Warner was so, he knew where the play was going, and he was kind of like that Sean Lee-esque. Sure. And I have him like as a 3rd, 4th player, but he'll be a good backup and help you when your starter's out type deal.
What you think about Borland? What you think about that Borland hype? Fuzz? What about him? Tough Borland. You don't like him?
No.
Me neither.
I'm cool. Okay, yeah, I'm cool. So those are my guys. So talk to me, Voch. Where am I off? What's going on?
It's fine. I don't hate your list. I think the top 3 linebackers is basically gonna come down to what you like. You know what I mean? If you like, now I like running, hitting, and covering. You know what I mean? And JOK is a smaller guy, but he's a little aggressive ass dude. Like your defense's aggression go up 1 pace. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just have him on the field. He's my linebacker 1. And people calling him a safety. I don't disagree. He can play a lot of positions. I don't think he's like another player. I saw some people comparing him to like Derwin James and Jamal Adams. And I think just because those 3 players play 3 positions, like linebacker, nickel, and safety, I think just because those players play 3 positions, that don't mean that they're the same kind of player because Derwin is a better free. Jamal may be a better box safety or whatever. You look at JOK, let that dude play well linebacker. You watch him in the Clemson games, he played like all nickel. You know what I mean? You watch him in the Florida State
and did well. And
he did well in nickel. Right. And in the Florida State game, he played a gang of will linebacker for you. He was running and hitting. Aggressive ass little dude. So in my mind, if you take that linebacker at 215, Darius Leonard from the Colts weighed in 215 last year. Foots, I know you like your players to be bigger. We just talked about this earlier. I know you like the big swole player, but JOK is my linebacker one. Jeremiah Wosu-Moore from Notre Dame. And let him cover people. Like if he can cover in the nickel and play linebacker, good.
So this is my point about JOK is like if I'm drafting him, I don't play him at linebacker. I just let him play football. It's weird. Like I was thinking this thing like because teams play so much nickel, he's like that player, but can play around the blocks because he can also carry people. Like I have film of him carrying Devonta Smith up the seam, but I also have his instincts. So like what I do is just let him. I would even keep two safeties on top of him, and so like my package would now change because of that player. He's definitely draftable at 10. I would definitely draft him at 10. It wouldn't be a question. Like it wouldn't be a question at all. Like it wouldn't be one question would I draft him at 10. I wouldn't limit him to just playing Mike is my point. You get what I'm saying?
I don't even line him up at Mike. Either Will or some hybrid Sam role where he can go in nickel or just play back if he wants to. Let me ask you a question. You'll take him at 10, no problem. Let me ask you this, sir. Who you like better, JOK or JC Horn?
JOK.
JOK or Rashawn Slater? Have you watched
Rashawn Slater?
You like Slater? Okay, cool. JOK
because of now. Here's why. I think that Rashawn Slater. First of all, I think when you start talking player,
sure,
he checks off two boxes. He's a better player, and
value's better. Yeah,
what he tackle, safe tackle, like, and this is what I don't want Cowboys fans to do. I'm going to say this throughout the whole process. Our defense sucks. Do not get your mindset on defense because our defense sucks. Like, scheme is going to change this year. I'm pretty sure that, our new DC will come in. Who's my guy from the Falcons? He'll come in and he'll make things just easier for these guys. Just keep things in front of them. Dan Quinn. Do not, okay? Do not. I'm going to say this loud, clear for you guys to hear. Do not get your mind, your program. These are the buttons on the side of your head where your brain is. Get it unprogrammed to think defense, Voch. Sure. Because when they go out there and draft Kyle Pitts, we're gonna suck. No,
listen, man, come on, son. Don't put that in the air, man. Don't put that in the air.
I talk myself into it.
Don't put that. Don't try to talk me into it. Did you down your own heel? Foots. Let that be your vice. Don't try to bring me in on this. What's wrong with you?
If I told you, Voch, you could have Kyle Pitts,
sure,
Trevon Moehrig,
sure,
and KJ Britt or somebody who slips.
I hate that draft. I hate that shit. What's wrong with you, Foot? Damn, player. Anyway, we talked about wide receivers. We talked about linebackers, corners. Let's get into some safety. I had somebody in my chat box ask. Brandon R dropped 5 in my super chat. Appreciate you. Jonathan K28 says, I've asked the question about strong safety to many people.
Shout out to you, Dexter, for the 10. Much love, brother.
Shouts out to Dexter. And he says that nobody can agree on the best strong safety. We ain't gotta linger here because we got some other little topics, safety talk, other safety topics that we're talking about. But who's your best box safety like right now? I got Nasruddin from Florida State.
My best box safety?
Sure.
Joker.
He's
I know. He can do more. I'm just messing with you, Voch. I just love Joker. Nasruddin, the USC kid. Go Nasruddin. Really, now this might mess you up. Okay. Vacho.
I'm just reading this. I'm just reading this cat comment. He says, "Voch, if Nasruddin bulk up, then he's strong safety one." That's weird. But then he says, I got Morig. Dude, dude tackles through people. So it's 3 parts of his comment that kind of got me twisted. Morig
that make no sense because Morig, and that's not a knock on you, homie. Thanks for watching the show, but
appreciate you watching.
He's a high safety.
First of all, Nasruddin ain't got to bulk up no more. He bigger than everybody.
He's actually too big, probably.
Morig don't play strong, and Morig ain't tackling through nobody. So
nah, he's a get you to the ground guy. He's not gonna blow you up. To be honest with you,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, the best box safety and the best cover safety is Richie Grant. And I mean that's kind of like that's the I wouldn't say Cliff Notes answer, but Richie Grant, because now when I initially did my ranking, okay, with Sky Still Voch, my ranking I had it Richie Grant at 3. It was not only till I got good eyes on Richie and saw his hip turn and said, okay, this guy can really play on the roof too. Like he was just limited at UCF.
Sure.
And so really it's Richie Grant. Like Richie, if you told me I'll be honest with you. Now if Joker's on the board, I'm gonna draft Joker before Grant, but if you drafted Grant at 10, I wouldn't be mad.
Fuss, I hate that.
I know. Because I know I'm not gonna get him in the second round, Voch. He's gone.
I agree. That ain't what the league doing. In my mind, the only way Dallas can get Richie Grant is if what we need is because teams can't draft, and we always got to account for that. Fuss, teams suck at drafting, so we need them to like Morig way more than Grant, and that could happen. I want either the Cowboys got to trade back to the end of the first round, or somebody got to fall in love with Morig.
You got to trade back in.
That's the only way I see it. But I don't think that dude makes it to 44. If he make it to 44, I'm going to scream and do a choreographed hump dance on my stream for us because that dude is my safety one. And how I rank my safeties is you got to go, what skill is the hardest to find? Playing on the roof is what you call it for us. And I love saying it's very swaggy. Playing on the roof. You're not going to always find safeties that can play one high. You can find a lot of guys that play too high. Shit, Nasruddin can play too high. Cisco can play too. Anybody can play too high. Gillespie can play too high. Finding a one high safety. The only people in this draft that can do it is Richie Grant, Trevon Morig, and Ardarius Washington. They're the only guys that can do it. And they are my top 3 safeties right now. And then to kind of separate guys even further is can they tackle? I loved Grant Delpit last year, Foots. I love Grant Delpit's one high ability so much. I didn't even want him to tackle nobody. I don't want Grant Delpit to tackle nobody. I just want you to be good in coverage. So you mean to tell me I get a guy that's good in coverage and he can tackle people? That's why Richie Grant is my safety one, and Ardarius Washington is my safety 2. Morig is 3 for me. I mean, not by far, but Morig is 3, and then we go into the box guys, and Nasruddin would be 4.
So I think, hey man, you know what I mean? I think you spot. I wanna pick John's brain. Hey John, I don't know what film you watched. I don't see Morig as a box player, man. I don't know. I didn't see. I mean, he'll mix it up, but that's not his game.
Ardarius is the guy that like to come down and hit people. So
that's what I saw him flying around.
So make sure Ardarius thinking that is more because his little bit just like JOK is a small, intense ass hit you little dude. That's Ardarius Washington. Ardarius Washington is another smaller, intense, will hit you little dude.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, John, is I'm saying his game. Like Morris' game is he's pass recognition. You know, when teams try to run you off and run corners and, you know, all these smash concepts and, you know, all this snag concept that teams are doing to try to get him out of position. What I'm saying is Morig be on top of all that, and he's rarely fooled, and his eyes are always in great position. So that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm not saying that like Morig, yeah. I mean, but John, you know, come on, we talking.
You can't have Trevon. You can't have Morig as a box safety. Come on, John. I trust you.
I know. That's why I'm getting into John right now. Like, hold on, John, because you know Yeah, most teams run a 4-2-5, so they
For everybody listening right now, we
they're
talking
coming
about
back and forth.
John G, DMV Cowboy Fanatic. Go over there, check out the show. He's another Cowboy YouTuber. He's
He
really
does great work.
in draft season right now. Joe Rod is also over there, Cowboys blog. Go over there and check them out. Give
Joe
them
Rizzo.
Listen, John G, I trust you in this draft, dog, and I don't want you to come out here like I understand it's March, but just go back and rewatch more Rig, dog, and just make sure you watching the right person and you ain't watching our Darius, because I don't see Morrig as a box guy. I don't think Morrig got that much come up and hit somebody in him. I don't want. Now he may play down there because our Darius is playing back and they may switch, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of how to utilize their traits properly, Morrig is a rangy guy. He's a rangy covery dude. He's not a box safety necessarily. Or I just don't think he's a box safety. I could be wrong. I'll go back and watch. But John G, I trust your eyes. I want you to go back and watch Morrig and say, all right, Vach, he's not a box safety. You ain't even got to say sorry, but just don't call. But I just don't see that.
And that's what I said too, Joe. I said the USC safety, he's not the best, but that's what he does.
Well, Richie the best.
Richie the best. Richie the best.
They just correct y'all on that. Richie the best. You ain't got to believe me. You ain't got to agree with me, but Richie is the best. Go ahead.
Richie's the most physical. He has the best instincts as well. He'll get that ball out of there. He'll hit you. He never power watches. So what I'm saying, what I'm seeing with Morrig, most safeties rotate on a strength call, unless it's just one guy who, like Voch is saying, is roof guy. And some teams do that as well. I'm telling you, these DCs, I've been around football for a long time. I've coached for a long time. Teams ask these guys to do some weird stuff. They ask these guys, they call it rover. They ask these guys to do. I mean, they have. I listen. I've been around.
Let's watch this though. You know what I hate? I hate when fans of that team come to me like that terminology is like all football. Like it's only some shit that their team said. Hey, Voch, do you think Morrig can come and play the big boot role like he did at my school? Like, that's not a thing. That's not a real terminology. They made that shit up at your school. Now, don't come down here asking me about a big boot role, about a lasagna roll. Shut up, my guy. But Foots, did you have a comment on these safeties, man? I just kind of started talking, then we attacked John G, and then Joe Rod came in and kicked Wiley down. What's your thoughts on these safeties? Because it's not many of them that I like. It ain't many of them. But the guys that I do like, I like a whole bunch.
Well, I mean, I think that Morrig.
Watch this though. What you think about Javon Holland? Let me just get my hate out the way for him, and then we can talk about your top guys. Do you like Javon Holland?
I think he's a draftable player, Voch.
I don't think he's draftable. Like 7th round draftable?
I say I got him in the 3rd, 4th. Because I think Voch, some of these guys can be saved, man. I'm telling you. Like, I see stuff. I always ask myself, what is the coach asking him to do? Oregon. I don't trust them defensively. Like, I don't even know if they even do defensive indies out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got to at least give him that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, like, I think Joe's right. Glorified nickel. That's spot on. That's DMV. So,
but look, this my problem about Holland at nickel. He don't cover nobody at the nickel. They just line him up in the nickel, and he run to the flats.
People point to his ball production, and people point to his ball production.
I don't see that. I think, look, if anybody got the ball production,
safety.
It's Cisco. Cisco got the ball production. I don't like Cisco like that. I think Javon Holland's terrible. He looked lost out there. He got athleticism, but I know some 7th round undrafted guys got athleticism. If the Cowboys draft Javon Holland, I'd be sick. What? I'm sorry.
No. You listen. You have your thoughts, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go to war. You know, for my Stanford corner, man.
Paulson Adebo gets his hands on the football a lot.
Thank you. Okay, all right. So we're not gonna go to war then, bet, because I just don't like why people throw him away. I'm gonna tell you like this: with this scheme, with Trevon Diggs is a 1.
Sure.
If Paulson's sitting there in the 3rd, 4th round, and you haven't addressed corner, I would draft Paulson Adebo, and I would be happy. He can play football. I just think what it was is, what are you asking him to do? I think he's a cover 3 player. There's no way, I don't know. There's no way that I'm going to ask him to be an off man guy or follow guy. That's not his game.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the awareness for that. But if everything's in front of him, if he can break on the football, we in good shape, Voch. So, that's kind of like my guy that I see people crap on, and I'm like, well, I like him.
Who's your guy?
Paulson Adebo.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, he just had a weirder last year than the year before. Like his 2019 wasn't as great as his 18. You know what I'm saying? And then we didn't really see him this year or whatever. But
I think they either played one game or didn't play.
I like the player. It just depends on where you plan them, right? You can't be all inclusive. Like now, if you a team that draft Paulson Adebo and you play him in the nickel, you wrong. Or you just like put him. Or you just put him in man coverage outside with no help, then you're wrong. But if his back is to the sideline, cover 3 times where he could just run and be long, I like him there.
Yeah, that's where he fits best. So
Foots, who are your safeties though? Foots, come on, son, come on, you're deflecting.
Oh, so I like Hamza. I wish he wouldn't. I wish he kind of. I didn't want him to go to the Senior Bowl, and he didn't. I think he either got hurt or he didn't really have his best showing. But I still like him. In my ranking, in early ranking, I had Morig 1, or I had it either flipped or I had Cisco higher. I still have hope for Cisco. You don't. Let's stay on different sides of and we'll revisit.
Sure.
I still think that Cisco could play. I see the athleticism. There's nobody who can tell me that the athleticism doesn't fly off the screen. I think the problem is he's wild. And so it's a lot like, what's my guy that the Raiders drafted? He got hurt last year. Safety. Jonathan Abram. He's wild. He's a wild player. And you see that a lot when he misses, his run keys. He doesn't run the alley correct. Sometimes he takes bad angles. But he'll also have those flash plays as well.
What round you got Cisco in? What round you got Cisco in?
Now, because Grant is bumped, Morig is going to stay put, and teams don't value safety. Second, 2, 3.
Oh, that's crazy. 4. That is crazy. That is crazy. The Cowboys take Cisco in the 3rd. I'd be sick. You got him better than Ardarius Washington?
I think they're 2 different players.
If you had to draft, Foots, if you're making a board, is Cisco better than Ardarius Washington?
Ardarius Washington is 115 pounds.
Cisco and leave Ardarius Washington on the board, I'm gonna be sick.
Hold on, whoa.
Yes.
Get ready to be sick, because guess what? Did we draft Buda Baker?
No, I don't. What they got to do with this year, though?
No. I'm about to tell you what it got to do with this year. The Cowboys don't take. Ardarius Washington is a damn good football player.
We got a whole.
Cowboys don't draft good football players. If they don't look the size, if they're shorter than me, they're not gonna draft them. Voch, you know that.
We can't have good drafts and then come out.
Joe, jump in the comment section. And me and you talked about how they passed.
Joe hate everybody. That don't count.
No. Joe knows, Voch. He knows that they will not draft good football players based on certain metrics. You know that.
That was the taco year, right?
That was the taco year, yes.
The example that we can go to, Fuzz. Fuzz, we can't say this team drafts well, then come out and say this team can't draft. Come on now, Fuzz.
No, I'm not saying they can't draft. I'm saying they don't draft good football players based on certain things. They have a metric that they follow. They're gonna tell you they don't, but they have a metric that they follow. You know that. That's not breaking news here.
I think Taco was a mistake, but for the most part, we don't really miss like that though. For real, we don't miss in that way. We missed on Taco, but we don't miss like that. Foots, come on now. Somebody in my chat box said we could have had Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp is a rotational player now. They're trying to get rid of Taylor Rapp. Come on, son.
I still like Taylor Rapp, but my point is, Buddha is the one that got away from us, and it was because of his size.
Do you think that's a Rod Marinelli problem?
Rod's issue, they said Rod would come in and say, don't draft me a first round D lineman.
So this ain't the regime's that's that team's problem. That is
I think it's a team organization issue. That what happens is on draft day, this happens.
Even if
that scouts. Voch, you're a scout. Me and you are scouts. Okay. If we have our Darius Washington rated higher than Cisco, but a coach says I can't do anything with this small player, that's where the coaches don't draft the scout. Don't trust the scouts. The scout's job is to do what? Look at the team that you run.
Have we done that lately?
Who do we pass on? No,
we swept this motherfucker last year. We swept last year. We haven't. I just think with
Gallimore was a good pick. Who was our second round pick last year, Bob?
Shit, Biotish, Bradley, and I.
I didn't play, and he should have, but that's another conversation.
Well, see, we talking about drafting, Foots. We only talking about drafting, and plus Bradley and I can't play over Randy Gregory. That's a whole thing. Maybe they see something at practice that we not seeing. I'm strictly talking about drafting. Bradley and I is not a guy that we'll normally draft. He was the best player on the board. We got him. It worked.
Yeah.
I don't want you to fall into these fan narratives, Foots, because I think way higher of you than that. We just can't come out and say, "Oh, the Cowboys don't draft."
No. Hey, I don't. If it was a fan narrative, I would not make some of the comments I make. You know that, Voch. What I'm saying is, I think that the metric thing, we've passed on good players because of that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the Cowboys have drafted. Oh, they've drafted well at times, but so hold on, because it's looking like even the Leighton Vander Esch pick, linebacker is a need because his injury history is real. It's not that he can't play, but Leighton Vander Esch looks like a player that when his neck hurts, he plays like his neck is hurting. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Jalen Smith there's not a Cowboys fan in this world who wants Jalen Smith on the field right now. Now, is that a scheme thing? Could be, but he's just a tick late. It just is what it is.
The one thing I'm constantly going back to, and you can ask people in my chat box because I hated Jalen Smith last year more than anybody. But we've seen Jalen and Vander Esch be good. We've seen it happen. They've both been incredible before. They just didn't go to bed, roll out one day, and they just wasn't good no more. So I look at them and I be like, if our D-line was better, could they be serviceable? I think Vander Esch would be really good because even in my Boise State film session, right? I was talking shit about Vander Esch. Hey man, he can't get all blocks, but he cool. You know what I'm saying? Then he has a Pro Bowl year. People saying, "Voch, you wrong." Then we come back and he can't get all blocks for real. I think if Vander Esch's only job is to run around, I think Vander Esch is a top tier linebacker in this league. It's just that last year he had no chance to run around. Dontario was out of shape. Everybody got hurt. It was nothing we could do with Vander Esch there. I think Jalen Smith will be fine if our D line was better. So I ain't ready to just shit on the Vander Esch pick. Now would I have rathered Harold Landry? Shit, yeah, I love Harold Landry, but I don't think Vander Esch was a terrible pick. I don't think
Rashaan Evans is going to be his comp moving forward for years to come. Rashaan Evans is playing good ball in Tennessee. Here's the difference. I gotta attack somebody in my chat box. I don't know if you can see him, but he said
you can go to Pro Bowl, then, but go ahead, I'm listening.
He said Foots like Mike White. I did like Mike White. I mean, if Mike you're gonna, and he said I like Mike White when he was, the quarterback. But I was like, okay, everybody, that's how they do us, Voch. When we miss on one guy, they hold us super accountable. But I also like Dalton Schultz.
They can't do that much, Foots. They can't do that much because look, we hit more than we wrong.
I was about to say, hey, if I win more than I lose, I'm a winner. You hear me? And so listen, you can say what you want. I also like Dalton Schultz, and I said that Jason Witten blocked his success. And what did Dalton Schultz go out and do? He played great football. So at the end of the day, and listen, DMV fanatic is right. Mike White actually could play. Dallas doesn't develop quarterbacks. That's the issue. But that's a whole other situation. So anyway, Voch, I guess my point is I would love to draft our Darius Washington. Bringing this. Oh, he's better than Cisco. He's a better football player for sure. For sure. That's not. Come on, man. But this team will not draft our Darius Washington.
I'm asking Foots. Do you like Cisco better than Tyree Gillespie?
I told you my thoughts about Gillespie.
You only dislike one game from Gillespie.
I know. All right, man. Lucky.
You know what it is? This show thing, Foots. I got real excited about Gillespie, and in your mind, you heard me say, I didn't say this, but in your mind, you heard me say Gillespie is the best safety in this draft. I just said I really like Gillespie. I just got really excited about it. And I still like Gillespie. Like, if I can get Gillespie in the 4th or something, give me some Gillespie. You know what I'm saying? But Gillespie's a good football player. He ain't safety.
No. Gillespie has actually something that none of these guys have, and that's world-class speed. Again, Missouri was a bad team.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of them things. It was literally the defense was like him and Nick Bolton. So it was kind of like, Gillespie. Hey, I was actually watching some all 22 of Nick Bolton, and Gillespie, he flew off the screen. I think it was just one game. He was just taking bad angles, and that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, like, the most underrated thing on every level of sports is coaching. Like, when I tell you, I will give Rob Marinelli ultra credit for keeping it simple, because, Josh, that was the game. It wasn't good. The Florida game, I didn't like it. But when I know, for me, when coaching, when these coaches come in here and try, like, what's his name just did too much. Rob Marinelli kept it simple when the defense played better. I've always said this, Voch. Coaching and development doesn't stop when you get to the league. DMV's a coach. He's a high school coach. Development does not stop when you get to the league. You should be developing throughout. You don't just hand these guys a playbook and be ready. No, you have to put in a plan for these players, for every position, a true plan. And the teams that do that the best are normally the better teams. You get what I'm saying about it? And so I just say that to say, like, defensively, like, I saw a player as good as Richie Grant playing one responsibility in his defense. It was like offset safety, like middle of the field, somewhat closed, and he was just a run player at times. And that was just very weird to me when I saw at the Senior Bowl, this guy can really move, and he can really, and I'll give you another one, Voch. Isaiah Simmons. He sucked this year in Arizona. Sure. They didn't have a plan. Sure. And so I'm telling you, like,
but also, though, people impatient. They want these college kids to come in and play with grown men that's been playing for 20. Just because they see one rookie do good, they think all rookies need to do good, and that's fairly unrealistic. I give all rookies a 3-year evaluation period, especially like quarterbacks and shit, because you can be good for a year and be trash the next 2. You know what I'm saying? So I go 3 years before I pass judgment on somebody's kids.
Totally, man. But hey, man, this was a fun show, Voch. For me, kind of like in conclusion, I just want to make sure that this team does the homework, has a plan, and kind of remembers what we just talked about with, to me, Voch, I'm serious, coaching and what you're asking these guys to do. Now, I will say, Dan Quinn on this defense, I'm looking for, my mind is going to be open for a lot more, like, the undersized Joker will fit with Dan Quinn.
Sure.
He's going to ask him to play fast, and he's going to keep it simple. Play fast, run to the ball.
Sure. I'm with you.
Not Nolan a whole new scheme when you don't have the personnel to do so.
We would hope that's the case. We would hope that Dan Quinn is open to more of the hybrid player, because there's a lot more hybrid players in this draft than there's ever been. So we can only hope that he's open to the small guys. But in real life, though, Foots, they can have our there as well. If I can get Rashawn Slater, then you give me like Richie Grant in the second. I don't care who else we draft. If I get them 2 players, it don't matter anybody else. I just take them 2 guys and go on.
You gotta trade back up to get Grant. He's not falling. What is it, 47? Where are we at? He's not.
He can make it a 40.
No, he can't, Voch.
Let me tell you why he can make it.
You got to put some weed in this car now.
Nah, because weed is fine in the league. Let me tell you why he's possibly able to make it to 44. It may not happen, but I don't want to hear you say he can't, because if you look at the players this year, there's an abundance of guys that are to where their position calls for them to get drafted late first, early second. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of safeties to like. it's a lot of defensive tackles in that area to like, linebackers to like. You see what I'm saying? To where we talking about those picks from pick 20 to pick 50 something. You like Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton going to be right in that conversation. Christian Barmore going to be right in that conversation. Some of these defensive ends, guys like Joseph Asai, guys like Kwity Paye may be there. Guys like just pick a position. Pick a position. Kelvin Joseph may fall and just end up in that spot. So if it goes the way that we think it's gonna go, sure, Richie might not be there, but teams can't draft. Somebody gonna take somebody sorry early. Somebody good is gonna fall, and then next thing you know, somebody wants to take Richie Grant, but they may like another. But Zaven Collins might be there, and they may have a need at linebacker, so they go Zaven Collins first, and they'll go, oh, we'll go get a safety later. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen. I'm saying it could happen. And I'm really trying to manifest Richie on the board at 44, whether it happens or not. That's just how I feel for us. Go ahead, my good sir. You was wrapping up. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, man. Hey, we got to do this more often. This joint was fire, bro. Yeah, man. I'm about to make some moves, get my day started. Voch, thank you for joining us, man. Plug yourself. Well, we both on our channel, so it's all love. We just want to shoot the breeze. We're going to try to put together a blast, a major show. Maybe even get Joe Rod on. I want to get a bunch of opinions and just kind of go at it and just kind of get guys. I like different group things because what I'm seeing is a lot of the same, and it just that sucks. Like we're not gonna draft Patrick Surtain. We might, but I hope that they don't.
I would
because there's other options and you need to think outside that box, especially because you have your one. So when every mock that I see with Surtain is just lazy. So, but anyway, Voch, man, thank you so much for rocking with me, man. This is my like kind of intro to really going live, and I got one of the big dogs on, so that was dope.
Appreciate you, man. I'm about to actually head out of this stream that we got right here and just kind of talk on mine because I got some super chats and I really want to answer their question because they took time out to put monies in my super chats. So I'm gonna answer their question. Unless you want to hang around for like 5 more minutes or you got something to do, it's up to you. But
I'm gonna jump off, Voch.
All right, cool.
I'm gonna end this. You gonna start another live?
Nah, I'm just gonna keep this one open, then just go over to my side and I'm just gonna talk to my people from here.
All right, bro. Peace.
Salute.